Phelps, of course, is the most decorated Olympian of all time.
If he was a country, he would have the third most swimming medals ever.
Where did this obsession of winning come from?
Hating to lose. I hate to lose more than I enjoy winning.
How did this come up?
One thing my coach took out of my vocabulary was the word can't, because it's going to be exponentially harder since you told yourself you can't.
28 medals.
The second youngest male swimmer to qualify for a U.S. Olympic team.
And what goes on in your head before even the race starts?
When I'm on the block, nothing. I'm like a dog trying to get out of the cage. Like I'm just...
Did you use any psychological warfare sort of tactic against your competitors?
I'm taking care of me and I'm focusing on what I need in that moment. I don't give a shit about my competitors in that moment. When I'm on the pool deck, it is a full-blown war. I want to absolutely destroy someone.
Was there anyone you secretly feared as a competitor?
No, I beat everybody. I don't care who you are. I'm the shark in the water. If I smell that smallest ounce of blood, I'm going to destroy it.
Watch me take it.
Tell me about that phase, which is your 2008 Beijing, where you won 8 gold medals.
History in Beijing for Michael Phelps. 8 for 8.
Like those 2 years, I felt unbeatable in the pool. I literally felt like there wasn't a single soul on the planet that could touch me, that could beat me.
Explaining an interview which you gave, the interviewer asked you that you've won 28 Olympic medals in your life, and you said, no, this 23 that count.
I medaled in 28 out of 30 of my races at the Olympic Games. 23 are only the ones that we need to talk about.
Silver is losing?
You're second. You lost. Third place. You lost. I don't talk about the other 5.
It's gonna be gold. It's gonna be a new world record.
Once I did make that Olympic team and I got 5th, I was pissed because I didn't want a piece of paper that somebody said, congratulations, you came and competed. I came because I wanted something around my neck. I'm there to hear my national anthem play. That's it.
Five Olympic Games, 28 medals, 23 of them gold, 39 world records. If this man was a country, he would have been the 3rd highest country with the medals. There is no other human being, there is no other athlete in the world who has achieved this much in a single sport as much as this person has achieved. He's a beast, he's a maniac. He's achieved numbers that no human has ever touched. He's achieved numbers that might never be touched again. And for 6 years straight, this man trained every single day. No Sundays off, no holidays, no Christmas, nothing, no excuses. How did he build this beast wild mindset? While the world was moving, he was training like a maniac. He was obsessed, trying to be better, faster, just by 1 second, just by half a second. And today, on Figuring Out, we're sitting with this beast, the absolute GOAT. It's an honor to do the podcast with Michael Phelps. The greatest athlete, the greatest Olympian, the athlete which has never existed before and the world has never seen. And in this conversation, we're going to figure out what it actually takes to absolutely become the champion and to build a mindset of a beast so that you kill it every time you enter the arena. This podcast is like the masterclass of an athlete mindset. If you want to win this year, watch this till the end. You know, actually, before I even start this, how about for 0.01% people who have no clue who you are, why don't you tell us, Michael, who are you?
I was a swimmer at one point in my life. Won a couple gold medals, broke a couple world records, competed in 5 Olympic Games. I'm a father of 4 now. I have 4 boys, 9, 7, 6, and almost 2. And I think a lot of what I try to do now is really promote healthy and active lifestyles, whether that's water safety with my foundation, or it's really trying to open up the world to the importance of mental health. I think for me, going through what I went through, the tail end of my career, really helped me explore more about who I am. But also, I think with me showing my vulnerability and opening up and talking about the struggles that I go through, I've been able to hear others or see others that have become vulnerable around me and shared what they go through. And for me, I think the second part is way bigger than the first part, because the second part, we're dealing with life and death. The first part was awesome. Like, don't get me wrong. It was incredible hearing my national anthem play and, winning a bunch of gold medals. But, the fact that life and death is also in play with so many people. I think I just read a stat. My wife just sent it to me yesterday. This is kind of crazy to me. Suicide's the second leading cause of death for people 10 to 34. So for me, that's why I say the second part is so much bigger. Just being able to save a life is 1,000 times better than winning an Olympic gold medal. And for me, just being able to have the platform that I have, to give me the chance to speak what I'm passionate about is really special.
Let's try to understand both the phases of your life.
Sure.
Part 1, part 2. But before we go there, I want to understand something about you when you were a child, like from the beginning. Tell me, what do I need to understand about you when you were 10 years old? You were unable to sit in a class. You saw your parents' relationship falling off. You were restless and not able to just cope up with everything which normal kids do.
Yeah.
What do I need to understand about that, Michael? Which helps me understand everything that came after.
Yeah. I think for me, going back even before 10, when I was 7 years old, I was, nonstop kind of bouncing off the wall. I was always around the pool. My two older sisters swam, so I was around the pool all the time. So water safety was something that was a big priority for my mother. And once I was in the water and I was safe there, I was just kind of playing around the pool all the time. So that's when I got into the water. And then the water was kind of a release for me. Being able to kind of swim as hard as you want, to go faster with, anger, if you might have it, was something that I enjoyed. It wasn't great dealing with anger as a 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old kid. But for me, it was an outlet. And it was something that, I ended up falling in love with. And, I remember in, middle school, I was told, by my teachers that I would never, by a teacher, that I would never amount to anything. And I still remember her name, and I still remember what she looks like. I still remember where I was sitting in the class. And I think at that point for me, I used it as motivation. The fact that a teacher, number one, would say they're doubting a student and not knowing how to deal with them, I think is saddening. It's upsetting. But for me, I was like, watch this, I'm going to prove you. And I think at the time that was pretty much when I had stopped taking, Ritalin, which was for my ADHD. So my ADHD, I literally was like, I was all over the place. I was leaning back in the chair on the back legs, leaving dents on the floor in the classroom, always getting sent to the principal's office. And honestly, I just had a really hard time sitting still. And at that point, my mom was, I was playing baseball, I was playing lacrosse, I was playing soccer, and I was swimming. I was playing all these different sports just to try to get the energy out of me. My mom was just like, I don't know what to do with them. And it's crazy. Fast forward now to where I'm 40 and I have 4 kids. It's the same way. Their kids are nonstop. But I think, going back to that point, I think swimming really gave me something to focus on. I was that well, I still am that kind of ADD, kind of all over the place, jittery, like kind of always moving around. Like that's just who I am. That's my personality. So, I think over time I naturally took something that somebody labeled me with having or being a less than of a kid. I took that into almost really making it a superpower, because it gave me the ability to focus on things that I was really passionate about.
But, so your teacher said she must have noticed, and the rest of the world just noticed how you were as a kid, who were restless, not able to sit anywhere. What do you think that teacher didn't get, or the world didn't get, about that kid who was not able to sit properly? Because you definitely had something in you, and I
just thought she didn't know how to, whether it's a lack of better way of saying it, like I don't think she wanted to deal with me, or knew how to deal with me, or knew how to handle me, or knew how to teach me, right? Like she just didn't know. And like for me, like my mother has been in education for 50 years. Like that's her passion. Her passion is being in the classroom to try to make an impact for a student, to try to help them take whatever they're learning in that year or that classroom and catapult it to help them into the rest of their life, to help transform them into what they want to be. And all of those steps need to happen. But when a teacher, instantly shuts down on a kid, it just doesn't look good for the teacher. But I mean, I think I got like a C in her class. So like, let's be honest. I was kind of like, just get me out of here.
Yeah.
Like that was my least favorite class that I went to every single day.
Which class was it?
English. I hated English, and maybe it was how she was teaching it to me, because I had teachers that were great. Like I had teachers throughout my elementary, middle, and high school where they were awesome, and they helped me understand when I had problems learning what everybody else was learning faster than what I was learning. Or if I was learning things faster than everybody else, then he or she gave me stuff to help me stay focused, right? Like I think it's just, everybody has a different mind, and everybody is able to handle or control as much as they can. And she just didn't know what to do. It was sad. And I'm sure there still are teachers out there in the world that are like that. And it is unfortunate. It is sad. But to the kids out there who do have an experience like that, know that there are other outcomes that can happen in life. People doubted me in the swimming pool too. And honestly, like for me, again, it was a form of motivation. That was it. Like if somebody wants to doubt me, like I've been on this kick lately where I've just been firing off quotes on Instagram, just like on my story, just ripping quotes off that just like hit me in the morning. And I'm a big quotes person. And like throughout my career, my coach would always put quotes on the top of the workout, motivating quotes, or just quotes that people need to hear, that for me, that I need to hear, for whatever you're going through life. So yeah, I can.
Which one's your favorite quote now?
I mean, my favorite quote is "Actions speak louder than words." Like that's one of my all-time favorite, hands down quotes, because it's true. Like you can say whatever you want, but if your actions don't back up those words, then all it is just a bold-faced lie. So, for me, like throughout my career, like I wanted to, break this world record, win this gold medal, whatever it was. And I knew that there had to be a process on how to get there, right? Like I can't just say it and snap my fingers. There had to be, every single day, little baby things that were stacked on top of each other, and little baby steps that were heading towards that goal. And if I was taking steps backwards, then I'm just cheating myself.
What do you think? You said water became your escape, and you were just always in the pool, taking out your anger and everything. Like it became your coping mechanism in some sort, and you were always in the pool. Right? Mm-hmm. What do you think? What did water give you emotionally, which nothing else could?
My kids call me Aquaman now, so I guess it's kind of fitting. I don't know. I think thinking back to it and, kind of being able to dive through my career a little bit inside the pool, I was super sensitive to every little part of the water in my body, right? So like when I would swim, I'm feeling the water in the palm of my hands. Like that's where I'm feeling all the pressure. So if my shoulder, or my arm or my body is not a certain way, then I'm not able to feel that. So it's all trial and error and trying to get in the right position. And naturally, I think, for me, just being submerged in water, I just felt at home. I don't know, for lack of better terms, like, even like now, if I go into a big depression state or I'm just in a grouchy mood for a couple of days and workout hasn't helped and, my normal routine hasn't helped, whether it's the cold tub or the sauna, I'll just get, my wife will just kick me out of the house and say, go jump in the swimming pool. Because it's kind of like the only place where I don't have anybody talking to me. I don't have to think about stroke. I don't have to think about what I'm having for dinner or what I'm making for dinner or what I'm doing tomorrow or this or that. I'm just there in the moment, right? Like I can just be. And I can swim for 500, which is, minimal compared to what I used to swim. Or I could swim 2,000. It doesn't matter. Like just being able to be back in the water, being back into that environment, I think is kind of one of my reset switches that kind of just levels me out.
Do you think you were running away from something, or
No.
you were swimming away from something or swimming towards something?
I think I found swimming, as an outlet, but I think, the reason why I found swimming is my two older sisters swam as well. So, for me, kind of seeing what they were doing, and my middle sister, Whitney, was traveling all over the world and she was on world championship teams. I was like, wow, that seems pretty cool. Like she was trying to go to the Olympic Games and I was like, yeah, I want to go to the Olympic Games. Like, hell yeah. Like who doesn't want to go to the Olympic Games? And I just kind of followed and, naturally as a kid, if you learn that you get good or you start getting faster, you kind of think, how fast can I get? And that's kind of what I did, like from the start into the end of my career, I was kind of like, all right, how much faster can I get? Can I drop a second? Can I drop a half a second? Can I drop 2/10? Like, what is the maximum potential that I have inside of me, and how can I challenge myself in different ways? Swimming for me, like, again, like I would scream underwater. You can't hear me. Like I would call my coach every single fucking name on the planet. Like, sorry for profanity, but like I literally would, like, because there were times where I was so frustrated and so angry and there was nothing else I could do, whether it was like my body was in pain, I mentally couldn't do it, or I felt like I couldn't do it. I would just scream, and then naturally I would still get through it and it would go well and blah, 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 blah. But it's like in that moment, like for me, screaming was one of those things I would just let everything out. And it's something that, like, we've taught our kids. Again, we have 4 boys and the emotions get high. So, we taught them this thing called a lion breath, where you take a deep breath and you roar like a lion and you scream as loud as you can. And again, the younger one doesn't scream that much, but like the 3 older ones, it's a lot of noise, but it's, again, like we find once they're able to do that, their shoulders drop a little bit and they're able to have that conversation of what big feelings, emotions they're going through inside instead of carrying them along through life.
Can you show me what is it? Like, what's a lion breath?
You don't want me to scream in here.
It's okay. You can just show like a little bit.
No,
version,
it's just
small version of it.
And obviously you can scream as loud as you want, but it's literally just take a big, deep breath in and just scream as loud as you possibly can. And naturally, when you do that, your shoulders do drop a little bit, right? You are able to kind of come back to earth, right? Be your normal self. Like I always joke, there was the Snicker bars commercial. It's always, they always show them here, but it's a commercial where it's like you take a bite of a Snickers and you just feel like your normal self. Like, I feel like that's what it is. Like what Snickers is saying, like when you have a sugar low, you eat some sugar and naturally you feel better. But here it's like, if you're stressed or you're frustrated and you take that deep breath, you're able to be like, okay, so why am I going through that? What feelings and emotions am I going through? And you're able just to get it all out. Like for me, it's, there are a bunch of different things that I do. I don't do lion breath that often, but when I'm in the pool, it's very easy to do it. But yeah, I mean, there's a checklist that I have for my own mental health.
So you used to scream inside the pool a lot. Oh.
Or like underwater.
Underwater, right?
Like when I was going and taking, like when I was doing my streamlines off the wall and I was kicking underwater, there were a lot of F-bombs that were said. Yeah, that was one of my favorite words, to scream underwater. And people could hear it. Honestly, like when you're in a set, like person next to me would be like, did you just scream? And you're like, I did. And they're like, all right, we have one more. And you're like, yep, we got one more repeat. Let's go. But it's kind of like in the moment, like I feel like I needed to do that just to get through. And everybody I think probably has something different, right? But that was just me. It was screaming underwater. It's same thing like when I'm in the weight room now, like I was just traveling overseas and I was lifting in, I think it was Mumbai. And I was in the weight room and I was like grunting. It was like, and like everybody in the gym like looked at me and I was like, oh shit. And I'm looking into a mirror and everybody's face is staring right at you. But it's just kind of something that I do. I mean, I used to do it right when I get up onto the block, right after I did my arm slap, it was something that I would always do, just clear my throat.
So is it, you were screaming a lot because you were obsessed with trying to win? Or was it
a lot of different things? It was probably, I wanted to win. I wanted to push through whatever I was going through, or I was emotionally just ready to snap, and screaming was something that would help me.
Where did this obsession of winning come from? Was it
hating to lose?
But
I hate to lose more than I enjoy winning.
Even when you were like 9, 10, 11? How did this come up?
I don't know. It was just something I always had. Like I always felt from when I was a little kid, like there was no second place. That wasn't an option. It's just something that I remember winning home run derby at 10 or 11 years old. Like I was the biggest kid playing lacrosse, playing long stick midi, just slashing people with the stick. Winning was everything. Yeah.
Do you think it has anything to do with not getting your father's approval when you were a kid? The absence of...
I don't think so. Because I would say a lot of it probably came from him. Because he was kind of more of the athlete from my parents' relationship. He was a baseball player, a football player, track and field stud. I think he was the first person to get cut from the Washington Redskins back in the day when they were the Redskins. So winning or trying to be the best is something that in sports was something that he was very good at. Like competition in sports, that was something that he excelled in. I would say my sister Whitney and I are uberly competitive, more competitive than my older sister Hillary, especially in sports. There's just, for us, again, there was no second place. For me, it ended up becoming preparation, right? Like preparation is everything. If you're not prepared, then you're going to get second, or you're going to get third, or you're going to get last, right? Because there's always somebody that is overly prepared or more prepared than you are, no matter what. So for me, I just became that person. There wasn't a planet. There wasn't a single person on this planet during those 20 years, pretty much of my career. I had a couple losses that I can name through my Olympic career. But there wasn't another person on this planet that was more prepared than me. Not, period. There wasn't. That's why I got the results that I got. It's not rocket science. It's not. I put in the work. I got the results. That's it.
Let's go to your preparation time and like when you first started with your coach.
Yeah.
And first, when your coach spotted you, in the same year, he went to your mother and said that you're going to win an Olympics or you're going to be in the Olympics, right? What was that story? Tell me about it.
My coach came to North Baltimore Aquatic Club where I was swimming, where my sister swam. Long tradition of excellence with that club in Baltimore. From 1984 until 2016, there was at least one person on every single Olympic team.
Wow.
So my coach came in 96, or right before 96, maybe 95.
Okay.
And he was helping my sister's group a little bit, my middle sister's group a little bit, prepare for Olympic trials and the Olympic Games in 96. And then the group kind of split and he took over a different group. I think I'm explaining this the right way. And then I remember seeing him while I was that kid playing at the pool. I was only swimming like 3 days a week. Like I really wasn't training that much back then. And I would always play. And I would see him go up and down the pool, walk, run, arms up in the air, screaming, whistling. And I was like, I remember being like, if it was me back then, what I was thinking, I would be like, there's no fucking chance I'm swimming for that man. Like he is an absolute lunatic. Fast forward a year, I spent 20 plus years of my life with that man, and he is my only coach. But it's kind of crazy because, seeing it, I think at that age, I was like, man, like truly, like this guy's nuts. But what I learned, it was just the passion that he has and that he had back then, that he still has today.
But did he come to you or you went to him?
So I was excelling in the group that I was in, and I needed to be in a higher group. And I was 11 years old at this time. And the kids that were in that group were like 14, 15, 18 years old, like way older, way more mature. But I was faster than them. So I ended up swimming in that group and I got to that group but before I got there, my coach sat down with my parents and I, and he's like, well, look, like if your son wants to make the Olympic team in 4 years, he can make the Olympic team. As an 11-year-old, I was 11 years old. But he said that to you. He said that to me. And he's like, but look, he's like, you got to stop playing baseball, lacrosse, and soccer. But for me, like looking back now, like playing those 4 different sports, I think naturally gave me a better body awareness. Like the more I talk to the professional athletes from all sports, all walks of life now, that's the same thing they did. Playing multiple sports. Don't be super hyper focused on one sport. But at a certain time, there's then going to be a decision that you have to make. It's just naturally, I feel like that's how it is in sports. If you really want to be the best at one sport, you have to make a decision at some point, just because of the process of development, this, that, and the other. But back then, yeah, he sat down and said that, and I was like, all right, fine, like I'll stop playing these other sports. I'll focus on swimming, no problem. And I just remember back then, I was the Energizer Bunny. Like he basically would wind me up, and I would just go, or he would say jump, and I would say how high. Because he gave me that vision of wanting to go to the Olympic Games, to then make the dream of winning an Olympic gold medal even bigger. Because, I just thought about going, and then I'm like, maybe I could win, right? Like that would be pretty cool.
When you were 11 and he said that to you for the first time, that you could go to Olympics in the next 4 years, did you believe it? Or did you act like someone who believed it until it actually became true?
I believed it because he showed confidence in me.
As an 11-year-old.
Something that he saw of me in the pool gave him confidence that he could do that. He had already trained and worked with previous Olympic coaches, Olympic athletes, and he saw something. And honestly, I think back to the question you asked earlier, he then became a father figure in my life, right? Because I literally spent 25 years traveling the world with him, right? So, basically my whole entire life was hand in hand with him. Everything we did swimming related was together. And, you know, I think once I did make that Olympic team, that really, really made me trust him, because I was like for me, because I know you said don't skip, but like when I made that Olympic team and I got 5th, I was pissed, but I was hungry, right? Because I didn't want a piece of paper that somebody said, congratulations, you came and competed. It's not why I came. I came because I wanted something around my neck. That's it. So I remember that day after my Olympic final in Sydney, the workout paper he wrote down, it said WR on the top of it. And for people who don't know, that means world record. And I was like, what's this? He goes, you're going to break a world record in 6 months. And I was like, okay, sure. Let's see what happens. Sure enough, 6 months later, I break a world record. So like, again, like that's where the whole trust really, really opened up. But, you know, I think through, you know, from the time I got with him to the time I was 15, he basically just broke my strokes completely apart. Like he started from scratch. You know, I had some good things going on with my body and how I swam and the reach. Obviously I have super long arms, long wingspan, short legs, really strong legs, short but wide. My quads are huge. So for me, like when I got to him at 11 years old, I still remember back in the day. So the people who don't understand swimming, a 6-beat kick is 3 kicks per 1 stroke. So it's 1, 2, 3 with your legs per 1 stroke. So he was teaching me the importance of a 6-beat kick. It wasn't at 11. I forget what age it was, but he said, every time you drop your legs in a practice and you don't do a 6-beat kick, I'm going to kick you out. And the first day I got through like 500 of a 6,000 yard workout. Kicked me out. Next day, 2,000, kicked me out. Next day, 2,500, kicked me out. Next day, 3,000, kicked me out. Next day, 4,000, kicked me out. By the end of the week, I got to a full workout. And from that day forward, I never dropped my feet for a single stroke of freestyle for the rest of my career. Did I agree with what he was doing? No, it sucked getting kicked out. It was absolutely miserable sitting there watching my friends train and be in a practice. But I learned the importance of the small technical points that you have to have in order to be able to go wherever you want to go, right? Like it's almost like a college level class. You can't take the 1,000 level class without taking the 1 through 9, right? Like, so there's a process through it all. And he taught me that process throughout my career. And we were able just to sharpen up those tools, right? Like that's really all it became. Because, you know, throughout my career, we ended up just trying to shave off hundredths of a second. How do you shave off 5 100ths of a second? Is it a turn? Is it a kick? Is it a streamline? What is it? Is it dive angle? Like how do we do it? Right. So it's trial and error, but it all started from those years when we first started working together. I mean, whether it was mindset, whether it was goal setting, whether it was preparation, routines, you know, that's where stretching came into play, all that stuff to just get your body prepared. My warm-ups were the same at every single meet from the time that I was 13 or 14 to the time I retired. It didn't change. 8-6-4-2 or 6-4-4-2, every single warm-up.